Hi, my name is Svan with the 3D scanning company HoloCreators, and as promised, this is the 2-hour tutorial how to make a reverse engineering of this part. As I said in the blog, you will find a download link for the original 3D scan of this file, so you can download that and then use it to follow this tutorial step by step. I will now give the word to my colleague who will take over and do the tutorial. Thank you very much.
I'm recording a video tutorial for reverse engineering in FreeCAD software tool. First we have to import our model. And we have to do a correct placement in the space for this model. To make the things easier, I decided to create a sketch with where I will put outer diameter circle with measurement of outer diameter of this flange. We can measure outer diameter in NetFab tool. We have to choose our model, press this icon to create new measurement, and then we choosing this tool, and by placing 3 vertices on the surface, we're getting this this outer diameter of the flange. Here in FreeCAD we have to create a new sketch. We choose in top view projection, and we creating circle. After this, we have to set diameter for this. Radius for this circle. To do this, we have to press here, and then we have to choose our circle. We have to type here our value that we get in the NetFab. It's 76 millimeters. To get diameter, we have to divide by 2. We can do it inside this field and it's gonna work. And we get 38 millimeters in diameter. After we're done with sketch, we can press close. And now we can start placing our model in the space. To do this, we can choose our model, and we can find placement tool in the edit, or we can just click on our model and we will see our placement parameters here. To make placement correct, we need to check this box here, apply incremental change to object placement. I'm gonna use different projections to get best alignment of this model. We can start with this projection, and we can we will rotate this model on different axes till we will get our model in the right position. In beginning, I will rotate our model using X axis. For me it looks nice, so I can press apply, and this, by pressing apply, this will set placement for our model. Now we go to other projection. And we will rotate this model by y-axis. This looks perfect to me. Again, I hit apply, and now we can rotate our model on z-axis to get perfect alignment here and here. I will try to switch to different views to get it as perfect as it possible. Maybe we need to rotate it a bit on y-axis. Yes, now it's, since this part is less damaged, I will try to use this as a reference. Now we can place our model, change our location of model to get it placed perfectly in space. To do this, we will use these three fields over here. I will just leave it here. For me, it looks perfect. Now we can go to top view, and we can try to get better alignment of this model to our circle that we already created. Of course, we have to press apply, and then we can try to get perfect alignment. This can be 0.9, and on X it can be 0.5, 0.4, 0.3 is perfect to me. Maybe here 0.8. Now we get our model perfectly placed in the space. Next, we're gonna create this model part by part. In this part of tutorial, we're gonna create our flange. First, we can hide objects that we don't need by pressing spacebar, and we will need to use part design workbench. We can create a body. Also, we can make our model appearance semi-transparent. To do this, we simply have to press Ctrl+D, and in transparency field we can set it to something like 60%, I think it's gonna be okay. And we have to choose our body, and we have to create new sketch. It's gonna be the sketch gonna be created on XZ plane. So basically we starting with creating simple sketch. We can use polyline and just we start in drawing our sketch of the flange by making these lines. Now we have to put all correct measurements to this sketch. To do this, we have to look on our model in NetFab. First, we know that this point gonna be the distance between the center of the model and this outer circle gonna be 38 millimeter. We know it for sure, so we have to choose this vertex over here and our z-axis, and we can press this button to make constraint. It's gonna be 38 millimeters. Next, we will try to find measurement from this vertex to this to the center. To do this, I'm doing the same thing as before. I will do a new measurement like this, and it's gonna be something around 42.2 millimeters. So we're doing the same thing. We're choosing our vertex here. We're choosing our axis line, and we press this button. Also, shortcut for it is Shift plus D. This is gonna be 32.2 divided by 2. So it's gonna be 21 millimeters. For this, also we need measurement from this point to the center. We're doing the same, just a couple of additional measurements. This actually we can. It's best thing to do it like this. And it's gonna be something around 36.5 millimeters. And we're choosing our vertex. Also, we will need measurement here. It's gonna be our thickness of the flange and walls for other parts. To measure it, I'm gonna use this tool, and I'm gonna use wall thickness tool. You have to just press in couple places to get an idea what the thickness of this part gonna be. I will put something average in it, and I will maybe choose 2.5 is gonna be good. I just choosing these two vertices, and I will press 2.5 in it. Also, I will make these two lines perpendicular by pressing this constraint. Everything looks nice. We just need only to actually, we don't need this constraint that is unnecessary, because this is not 90 degrees angle. Next thing, we have to do couple measurements for this area. I'm gonna choose instrument point measurement, and I will do a simple measurement of this part here, just in few places. So it looks like we can looks like we can make a thickness of this part same as our thickness of entire model. So let it be 2.5. Next, we will need the distance from this surface to this surface over here, and we can do this by measuring thickness. I think this view is perfect to do this. We're choosing wall thickness tool, and it shows us 5.4 here, 5.5 here, 5.6 here. So I will type the distance. Let's say we'll type distance for these two vertices over here, and we can do it this way. Since it's not straight line, we gonna use this tool, and we will put 5.5, and it looks perfect. Other thing that I want to make is just to measure distance between these 2 points. Also, I want to make this and this lines perpendicular. And it will show up error because we have already put this distance here. So to avoid this problem, we need to change our measurements over here. Now it looks correct. Only think the thickness of wall is gonna be a bit smaller here. Now we can choose these 2 points and put measurement 2.5 here too. So we have constant thickness of this part, and we still have 4 degrees of freedom, and it's better to have 0 degrees of freedom for our sketch to avoid any errors in the future. So we can eliminate our freedom by putting on the sketch more constraints. We can do it. Also, we can measure this part as well. To do this, we can do a circle measurement from this side. It's gonna be 70 millimeters. So from this point to the center gonna be 70 divided by 2. And let's say this, I want this to be perpendicular to. Okay, now it looks correct. Only we have some freedom here, so we have to put more constraints. Let's do it by choosing this point and this line over here. Only left 1 degree of freedom. And we have to we can end this by adding distance over here. Now it's fully constrained and we can go further. Now we have to rotate this sketch to get the solid shape. To do this, we choose our sketch, and here we will choose Revolve tool. And since default settings are okay for us, so we just spray OK. And now we have flange. In this part of tutorial, we're gonna create extrusion and holes in our flange. To do this, we can hide for now our base model. We need to create a surface where which one we can attach our sketch. I will do this way. I just selecting this face, and I'm pressing this button to create shape binder. Now we can hide our revolution shape, and so we don't need this. And we need to go to the bottom view, and we have to press create new sketch. And it doesn't work properly sometimes. Just need to choose our face, press create new sketch, and it works. Now we have our sketch in same placement as our face. Now we will need to see our base model. You can just press spacebar and we have it here. Now we need to create two circles that we're gonna use in our next operations. We can take some measurements from our model, like it was before. Let's do one more. I think 5.6 gonna be fine for this. So to make a constraint or circle, we can choose our circle and then press here. Okay, and we're gonna type 5.6 divided by 2. For this, for outer diameter, it's gonna be something like 11.3 or I think 11.3 is perfect. So we're doing the same, 0.3, and hit OK. Oops, I forgot to divide it by 2. Now it looks almost perfect. Only one thing is might be good idea to fix the position of our sketch, so just can do it by applying these dimensions here. So it's not now, it's fully constrained, and we can close our sketch. But we need also to make 2 of them, so we can just basically copy, and it will ask, do we need all dependencies on this object, and we hit no, and then we can just paste it, and we need it to put here. For now we don't need our shape builder, so we can hide it. Also, we don't need our base model. We need our flange, and we need to do small changes to our 2 sketches. For first one, we need to hide one of the circles. We can do it basically just choosing our circle that we don't need, and we can make it construction shape. Okay, and we're gonna do same with other sketch, but we will choose another circle. And now looks like everything set it up correctly. Now we can start first to extrude this circle on our surface. To do this, we can simply use this function. Let's put 1 millimeter here and hit OK. Now to rotate this extrusion, you'll need this function, create polar pattern feature. We just hit it, and now we need 6 of them, so we in this field we will put number 6, and it will create for us 6 extrusions. After this, we're gonna create holes inside these extrusions. To do this, we will choose our polar pattern, and then we will use a pocket command here. I'm sorry, we have to choose first our sketch, and since it's inside our since we need a pocket in both way, we have to click here to this checkbox, and it will create a pocket in both directions from the sketch. Then we will hit apply, and now we can do simply what we did before, just rotate these holes, make them 6, and hit OK. Now we have almost done with our flange, and next part gonna be creating the middle part of the body. For now, we're gonna start creating our main body. Also, let's make proper names in our hierarchy here. To do this, we can press F2, and we can change name. Let's name it flange. To create our body, I'm gonna use 2 sketches, and we're gonna use this tool, Loft tool. First, we will need our sketch of our top part of our flange. To do this, the best way to do this, I found, to simply pick this face and to create a shape binder. Then we will need also new body. Let's call it main body. And let's put this shape binder to our new body. To do this, we can press right click on it and choose move object to other body. Hit OK, and now we have our shape binder here. For now, we don't need it. We don't need our flange. We can just hide it. And of course we gonna need to create new sketch. And again, it doesn't work properly. Okay, here we have our sketch, just checking if it placed correct. We will need just 2 cycles to create it. Oh, also we're gonna need cycles from our base. To do this, we can choose this option or simply press X on keyboard, and let's choose this circle and let's choose this circle. Let's make them okay. Now we can take the circle tool and we can create 2 circles. Just okay, and now it's constrained to our circles from our shape binder, and actually it fully constrains sketch, so we are good to go. You can close it. Next step gonna be we will need manually to create sketch of this part. To do this, I found the best way gonna be to make a slice of our mesh, and we're gonna use this part as a reference to create a sketch. We will need first to slice this mesh. Actually, we don't need it to be transparent for now, as it actually slows down the computer, so it's a good idea to turn transparency back to 0. Also, in future we will need this part, so we need to copy this and paste. So to make a cut here, let's choose our workbench to mesh design, and for this we have this cut tool, and what we're gonna do is just simply gonna do a cut, but let's choose let's cancel. Let's choose the perfect placement for the cut. I think this place is perfect to make a cut. So let's choose good projection to make it, and I'm choosing cut tool and simply trying to get straight line here, and oops, wrong. We need inner part. Okay, for now we have a cut here, and we're gonna use it to create our new sketch. So let's go back to our part design workbench and let's create new sketch. Just simply pressing create a new sketch, and for now we need to displace our sketch to a new position. We can do this basically, where is it? But actually it's not what we need for now. We need just to create new sketch. Let's choose our XY plane. And we need just to change placement for the to change placement we have to choose our sketch and go to attachment, and here we can change position of our sketch. Let's do it as close as possible to our sliced mesh. I think 27. I think 27 is okay. So from this point we can go and start editing our sketch. Since it's in the correct position, we can just start making it by making 2 lines. And also we're gonna need, but we can just basically mirror it on other side. But first let's put some constraints on it just to make things easier. I'm choosing two points and our symmetry line, and I want to be this point in same distance from the x-axis, and I'm gonna do the same thing for this one. So it looks perfect. Also, as we have thickness of our model about 2.5 millimeters, I'm gonna put here distance between these two lines. It's gonna be 2.5 millimeters. Oops, it's wrong. 2.5. Also, I want these two lines to be parallel to each other. Okay, and now we have a problem. Okay. Date constraint 5. Maybe we should take this another try. For some reason. Okay, looks like since we already add symmetry to these points, it's not gonna move anywhere. So basically we need them, I think we need them to be same in same length, so we have to put equal constraint on them, and it works fine. Then we can put our thickness to it, but it's 2.5 millimeters. Now it looks perfect. Next thing, I'm gonna just simply to mirror it to the side using this line. We go here and simply creating symmetry. Now it's symmetrical, but see, it's we have some imperfections in our base model. It's gonna be, it might look a bit wrong, but actually need to add symmetry. Let's try to do it again. For now it looks fine, I think. Next step gonna be is creating these two curves. Do this, we just have to pick our curve tool and to create these curvatures. Also, I think it's gonna be a good idea to put symmetry on between these 2 points. Yes, and this works fine. I think this looks correct. And next thing we gonna make next curve. I think it should be something like this, no? So basically we are doing the same process, just creating cycles. I think it should be same thickness or here. So to make a constraint here, we will need some construction line. To do this, we have to put our vertex on the attach our vertex to the circle, and let's give it a dimension of 2.5 millimeters. Now it has fixed thickness all around here. And also let's make it construction line, so it's not gonna be visible on our final sketch. For now, let's do other mirroring operation, and it works fine. And then we have to just manually connect these vertices. Just doing by selecting 2 vertices here this way and pressing this button. So last thing we have to do is just give it more constraints till it's gonna be fully constrained. To do this, we will need to add a couple of measurements. I think it's gonna be a good idea to do it like this. Okay. Let's also make this oh, it's not gonna work. Like this, and let's give it a radius. Also, let's give this a Okay, now we have just one. Okay, we need to make the circles equal, and it works for us. Now it's fully constrained. So basically we can close this window, and next part gonna be creating the top slice of it. So we already have bottom slice, middle, and we need top. To do this, we will need our main model, and we will need to define center of this circular shape here. So we will need to create new sketch just by pressing, and we need to position it on XZ plane. So basically, and now we have to change placement of the sketch. I think this one. Okay, we need to move y-axis till we get something in the middle of this. I think it looks correct to me. Now we'll start to create this shape over here. And also we will need to make our model semi-transparent again, just to get better idea where it should be. So it's all the same process as before. And just starting sketching, doing rough sketch of this shape. So I'm sketching out this shape by doing it like this. Let's put some constraints on it, just to fix things on places. And now it works much better. Oof. Next thing, we're gonna do the same but for inner part. Just to add some thickness to this sketch. Okay, I think for now it looks fine. And next, what we're gonna do, it's we will rotate this sketch, and we'll mirror it actually too. But also we will need this sketch later, so I will just basically copy it and paste and hide. And this sketch we will rotate. Also we will need this value here. So basically we can try to use this option here to rotate our sketch. We will rotate it on y-axis, so we just need to change this to 1, and then we can press 90 degree and it works a bit wrong. I think we need to use the axis. No, maybe X. Yeah, X axis is perfect. So next step is to mirror it, and then we will use loft tool. So we're going back to our sketch, and we will do a simple thing, just select all, choose, we have to choose our axis, and we can simply mirror it, but it works wrong because we were choose this, and we don't need this. Actually we need only this line. So let's try to do it again. Okay, doesn't seem it's gonna work properly like this. Okay, now it's done. One more thing, we need to make this line's construction, and we have to manually attach these points just by doing this. Here, up. For some reason it doesn't want to work proper. Okay. So now with all our sketches we can create a loft object. To do this we can hide our model and let's do them a proper name. Let it be bottom. This one is going to be middle and top. Okay, and we're gonna use this, and we will choose one by one, just pressing add section, and it creates for us this curvy shape. Let's do it the next one. And for some reason it works not nice. We can try to do it with in opposite side from top to bottom. I think the reason for this is because we have wrong position in space for one of the sketches. I will fix it and we'll come back soon. So since we had some kind of bug, I did it in another way, and I will right now show you how we came up to this result. It's basically we had to do everything that we have done before. We just had to split up our sketches in two parts, where we defined inner section and outer section. So after this we did loft for two sections, and we came up with two bodies, outer shape and inner shape. Basically it was like this. We have our three sketches. We choosing the bottom one, we press in loft tool, and we press in add section, and so on till we ended up with this result. Then we hit in OK. Same with other batch of sketches. So we have just two shapes, and after that we can do Boolean operation with two bodies. First we have to select our main body, then the other object that we want to cut through our main body, and we have to press make a cut of two shapes. After a couple seconds we will get this result. So basically that's all for main body shape. Next we will create our this circular shape here on the top, and this attachment too. In this part we're gonna create this top covering part. For this we will start use our sketch that we created before, only we need to add one thing to the sketch. We have to create here additional lines to make this shape closed. Let's check if everything works fine. Yeah, and this. Next. I will close, but it's not closed. Okay. And it looks fine. Next thing, we're gonna create new body and we'll put this sketch to this body. So, and we will do rotation for the sketch. And again, it doesn't work proper for some reason. Okay, I think the problem is these two lines that we have to hide. And we'll do this by changing them to construct lines, and let's try it again. Okay. So basically our sketch has to be closed everywhere, and I think that was an issue. Let's try again. Okay, now it's working fine. At least we have to do it. Okay, like this, and also we have to turn this part on 90 degrees. So basically the best things to do it gonna be to rotate sketch itself. We can always we can edit our sketch inside of any operation, just we have to turn it on 90 degrees, and it's gonna work. Let's try minus 90. Yeah, it's perfect right now. So it has good alignment to our main body. And next we're gonna create this part over here. But before it, we need to make a Boolean operation to connect these two parts together. So we will choose our two main bodies and let's do a Boolean operation over here. Looks like it's did it in wrong ways. Let's undo this all and we'll try it do another way. Just we have to. We can basically create. Can basically go to part. Since we're not gonna do any changes to this part, so we can create from them simple copies. And we can hide for now this too. And now we can do a union of these two shapes. And we have some sort of problem here. Let's leave it as is for now, and we'll start creating this part over here. To do this, we can take our sketch that we was using for this part, simply we can copy it, and we need it to place back to original position. We can hide our body and we need to change our sketch, so we go to our sketcher, choose our sketch and start sketching out these things. We don't need this all, we just need to create new sketch. So we do basically all the same things like it was before. Just a simple sketch. Next, we're gonna rotate this. We can go to Part and choose Rotate. Again, it has broken face inside. So I fixed the sketch. Sketch should be always closed. It should be closed loop. Otherwise, it's this rotation operation doesn't gonna work. So basically, we're doing it like was before. We rotate it, and next we will. Don't need it for now. We will. We can apply some sort of Boolean operation just to union these parts. I think I can try first to union these two parts. Let's try. And it creates something that I don't want to see. So basically, let's create simple copy of this. I think we can leave this what it is, but we need to create simple copy from this one. To do this, we go to part, create simple copy, and we have those all parts together. We just need them to assemble them together. To do this, we need to create another body, I think, and we'll do this in Part Design tool. We create a new body. We send in our this rotated object here. And oops, that was wrong. And now we can try to combine these three bodies together. And it works fine for now. Just can hit apply, and we have a new body that has everything as we need. So getting closer to finish model. And now we need to create another sketch which will define our inner part. So basically everything is same like it was before. We need to, for now, we need to get our sketch from this. Okay, I think it was this one. Let's take a look on it. Yes, and that's correct. And now we should to create this inner section. So basically it's all same process. We need to change this sketch. So we can, I think we can leave some parts of it. Now let's just delete this all, and we can start drawing new sketch. I think it should be something like this. And again, we have to be sure that everything connected to each other to avoid any errors in future. Okay, now it looks like that we want to create some, and let's just double check if everything sits perfect inside our model that we just created. And it seems like it's almost perfect. I think just we need to make it a bit longer here. And right now it looks fine. So next we're gonna rotate . I'm not sure what happened. Okay, also we can take some dimensions from our model in NetFab. I think it's gonna be good to use this diameter here. It's 11 millimeters, and here it's something about 6 millimeters. So I'm gonna go with this. I have to just add here constraints 11. Okay, need to double check it. It's 11 divided by 2. Oops. We have to put it here. 11 divided by 2, and here also it should be 6 divided by 2, and I think we can go with it. Right. Next operation gonna be we're gonna just rotate it, and then we will subtract our new shape from this body. And we need to create new body new body where we will just rotate our new object, and we can just need to change it back. So what we need just to make some Boolean operation, but before do this we need to make a simple copy of this model. So we go to parts and create a simple copy, and also we can create a simple copy from this one, and we're almost done. And just subtract this shape from this one, and it looks perfect. Everything looks like it should be. So there are left only some small part on the flange over here, and we're almost done with this model. So we are finishing our model. The last part gonna be very easy to model. First we can hide our top cover because we don't need it. We're gonna need only our bottom part of our scanned model. And first we can create simple cube by pressing on this primitive. We have to only do a right position for it. To do this, let's go to bottom view, and here we can choose placement for our cube. Let's press apply incremental change to object placement, and now we can also, before do anything, I would like to define the dimensions of this object. So we can see here length, width and height for this cube. So basically, first we need to take some measurements from our model. Here, let's choose our point-to-point tool, and can measure this something around, I think, 12.7 gonna be fine. So let's see where we have to put this. I think 12.7. Next we need to know dimension of this. I believe it's fine if we will put 9.5, and it's gonna be length. Yeah, it's correct. And for hike, it's something, since here a lot of damage, we can't know for sure, but it's probably can be, I believe it 10 millimeters, it's fine for it. Next we have to place this thing here, and to do this we go into placement. Also we need bottom view, and basically we'll just put this on the right position. Here I think here we need 4.5, or it should be 12.7 divided by 2 to be correct. So it's gonna be 12.7 divided by 2, and it works fine. Next we just have to put this here, and actually, and of course we need to adjust the position on the axis. I think this is correct. Maybe it's a bit less. Actually, we need to hide for a moment our yeah, and now it looks perfect, but I think we need to make it a bit longer, a bit higher. So let's do this 12 millimeters, and I think it looks fine right now. Next thing, we have to create a simple cell cylinder here, and we're gonna do Boolean operation. Just need to make cylinder, we need to make it 5.2 in diameter, so it's 5.2 divided by 2. And next we have to position it, so we're doing all the same things. Just oops, here is 0. Also we need to flip it on the axis. No, Y, it's Y axis. Okay, and we can hit apply. Just doing some placement, and also we needed to make a bit longer. Actually, something happened to our cube. Yeah. Sometimes it can happen. We need to restore our parameters of our cube. So, okay, let's try to do it again. It looks correct, and now we can hit apply. Okay, let's do the same thing for our cylinder. Let's position it. Now it looks fine. Hit apply. Now we can subtract our cylinder from this cube, and we have this shape here. Next, we will create this hole here. It's almost the same process. We just need to create a new cylinder. Let's make it radius 6 divided. Let's leave it 6 divided by 2. Oh, 3 divided by 2. And only we have to place it in a different place. This looks correct to me. I hit apply, and now we can do other Boolean operation on it too. Oops, we can have to do it in another way. So basically, we have our cylinders cut from this cube, and the last part is to create a screw and subtract it from our cube. To do this, we can hide everything for now, and we have to create simple shape. Just going to this menu, which choosing helix. Pitch is 0.7. Let it be 5 mils, gonna be fine. Radius 4. And that's all. Oh, radius is 2, I think. Okay, now we have to we can hide everything for now. We need to create a sketch. Just need you have to go to sketch, and we hit create a sketch. We're gonna use ZY axis. And all we need to do is just to draw a triangle. So we can find basic shapes. It's here, it's triangle, and so we can we can try to align it as best as we can with our helix. Let's do these lines parallel. So in the last part, we almost finished making this screw. Just we have to use Swift tool. So we're choosing our helix, choosing our sketch. We have to check this box and this one as well. Oops. And also we have to choose our helix here. And here we have our shape. We can now hide helix, we can now hide sketch. So the last thing that we have to do is just subtract this shape from our cube. But before we had to place it, so we will do it right now. Like same like it was before. Looks like something wrong with our helix. So we need to change radius. I think 1.5 gonna be fine, but Okay, now it should look better, I think. Only for placement, you have to copy these values here. Now it looks correct. So we hit apply, we almost done, only need to cut off this from our cube, this sweep tool, and we hit apply, and we have a screw hole here. So basically this all done, only I think we can choose all our parts and we can connect them together. So I think we can use Boolean operation as well. I think it's a good idea to create simple copy. Just to make sure we will not gonna hit any errors. And now we can merge them together. Let's double check for any issues. And it looks fine. It's all solid. So, and we can simply just finish it by creating simple copy, and it's done. It's all finished.
Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you had a lot of fun. I hope your part that you constructed looks a lot like our part. If not, if you have any questions, feel free to email us at any time. I wish you a very nice day and see you next time. Bye-bye.